Welcome back. In this video, we're going to continue working on our to-do component. In between our break here, I noticed a couple of things that I think might need to be changed real quick. So the first thing I want to do on the set state is I want to change this to a partial state. And then what I want to do here is essentially make a new object and then copy our state into it. And then we'll apply our state to that as well. And then also we can update this one to be the same way. And in fact, we can just shorten this all together, I think. All right. Let's just copy this out of here like this. And if you just need a little refresher here, the reason why we do this is you don't want to modify the state that you already have that exists. So here we're just creating a new object, and then we're using the spread operator here to copy the properties out of the state that already exists, and then essentially overwrite any of the partial of the state that we pass into it. Okay. So let's go ahead here, and I'm just going to copy this controller and then go to our to-do. And I'm going to post this in here, and this is going to be the to-do controller, and this is going to control our main flow of the application, right? And so we don't have to rewrite all this from scratch. This helps us out a little bit. So for our state, it's going to be, we're going to have items, and they're going to be items of type I to-do, like this. And our state is going to return a new state of items. So this is essentially our default state should just be a blank. And we forgot the square brackets on here to make sure that it is an array of items. And then a lot of this already just kind of works. So the next thing that I want to do is, because I want to be able to generate unique IDs when we add new items, let's go ahead and add this package called nanoid. This is one that I use in production, and it's pretty good. So if you know what UUIDs are, they're like a way to generate unique IDs. Nanoid is that, but a little bit more on steroids. It actually has a little bit more entropy, right? So basically, like UUIDs, you can generate like 1 million UUIDs every second for like over 50 years, and the chance of you having a collision is extremely small. You know, that's how unique UUIDs are, and nanoIDs are actually even more unique than that. So this is like a fire and forget way to generate IDs for things like things in an array without even having to think about it. If you want to be extra ultra safe, like let's say you were working on something that was like super critical, you probably still want to check to make sure that you don't have any duplicate IDs inside of your list. But I mean, the chances of collision are so small, there's almost no point to even check, really. Okay, so let's go ahead and install the package. I'm just going to copy it from here. And then I'm going to save dev on this. Okay, that's looking good. And so we're going to have to write a couple of methods here. So we're going to need a method for when we add a to-do. And it's going to take some kind of value, which is going to be a string that we had typed in before. And what we're going to have to do here is we'll create a const of new to-dos. And what we'll do is we'll copy our old to-dos. And let's just call this like new items, like so. So the spread operator here works the same as it does up here for the object. It'll create a new array and just copy all the items from our old array by reference into this new array. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to push onto this new array here. So new items dot push. And then there's going to be this, we have to have a new ID here. And so we can just do like a nano ID. And I'm just going to import nano ID here. And then the text is just going to be the value that we passed in here. And then our done value will be false. Okay. And then what we have to do is call here is to set state. And then our items will be our new items, like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out. So inside of our to-do component here, we're going to do kind of the same thing that we did before, and then we're just going to have a new to-do. What did we name this? Well, this should just be the to-do controller. Let's go ahead and rename this. And then I can just copy this and paste it right here, and it'll automatically do the import for me. Just saves you a little bit of time when you don't have to do it manually. And we go up to the top here, we see here's our to-do controller input. So now we need to link these two together. We need to pass this controller into our to-do input here so that it has access to it. Or I think typically what I would do here is I would use a callback, but you can do it either way. You can pass the controller into this component and then just call the method from it. Let's go ahead and let's show that way first. So we need an interface of props. And it will take a to-do controller of type to-do controller, like so. And then this will be props, and this will be to-do controller, like so. Okay, and it's given us guff because we haven't used it for anything yet. But here we can add an onClick, and then for the onClick handler, we can just have to-do controller dot on add to do, and then we can grab from the controller from this component, like so. And it's given us an issue here because this needs to be a function. So all we need to do is just make this an arrow function like this, and this works perfectly fine. Okay. So let's go ahead and test this out. Actually, we have to finish wiring this up. So go back to our to-do index here, and our to-do controller will be our controller here, like so. Also what I'm seeing here is that we're still rendering the old items. So let's go ahead and just remove all this real quick. We don't need any of this anymore. And then instead of items, again, const state is equal to controller.state. Usually I do this, but usually there's a lot more values on the actual state than just the one value that we have. And this will work just fine, I think. It says, what do you need done? Piano lessons. Cool. Click add, and nothing happened. And there's no error in my console. I know what happened here. The reason why this doesn't work is we need to call our controller.useController. And the reason that we need to do that is, remember, this useController method actually calls the useState for our controller. And so we need to make sure that we call that. So let's try this out again. And there we go. Toast. Butter. All right. Very cool. So we're going to notice after we click add here that this doesn't clear. So what we need to do here is add some extra functionality. So for our input controller here, we can add just a little method here to clear the value for us. And somehow I typed this all completely wrong. That's all right. We'll call this set state. And it will set the value to blank like this. Go back to our to-do input. And again, kind of my general rule of thumb is like, if you have like one line in here, it's fine to put down here. Otherwise, I'm just going to put it up here somewhere. So we'll just write ourselves a little function here. And we'll copy this out like this. And we'll just paste this function in here like so. And we'll double check that this works. Who doesn't like tacos? There we go, that works pretty well. Okay. So now that we have our two controllers set up, now there's not that much left for us really to do to get this to work correctly. We just need the handle radio button here, change. And we need to be able to handle the delete scenario as well. So we'll handle that in the next video, and I'll see you there.